Hello, welcome back to Project You, the lifestyle workshops. You should know this intro by now because we are on week 5. Today, we are going to chat about stress and mindfulness. This is something that we probably regularly ignore until we are completely burnt out, completely overwhelmed, and realize actually we probably should have took it a little bit more seriously in the past. We are talking stress, mindfulness, and self-care. Similar to our last workshop about sleep, this can affect everything: how we eat, how we move, how we show up in our day-to-day life, how we show up in our relationships, and everything else in between. And if we don't manage our stress, it will manage us. And I hear you, and I totally appreciate that a lot of it is something that we cannot avoid and it creeps up out of nowhere. And everybody has their own levels of stress for them. But it's about analyzing what's going on for you personally, which is a theme here with Project 45. And then trying our absolute best to tackle it as and when it happens, or like we did in our obstacles workshop, trying to plan ahead where we can. Stress isn't always obvious. It can sometimes look like constant fatigue, irritability, for a lot of people, emotional overeating or even undereating, lack of motivation, and then obviously your very common ones, which is your mental health concerns. So just like all workshops in Project 45, we are going to analyze your stress personally for you, no one else's, and then make whatever necessary adaptations you need to for yourself. So this is where your planner comes in. And habit 5 is stress and mindfulness. What we want to do before we do anything is figure out what is going on with your evaluations. So your stress evaluations are going to ask you questions about your stress levels in general. So there are some examples in here of giving yourself a mark out of 10. And then we are going to look into your self-care and your self-love, which I think is really important. So what you're going to do is find that page. You are going to give yourself a mark out of 10 for where you feel like you are at the minute. You're then going to try and have a figure out of why that will be, and then what goals you can concentrate on to get that number out of 10 a little bit higher. So this is going to be things like, what is draining your energy right now? What is helping your energy? What feels really heavy and hard? Where is stress showing up the most in your life? There might actually be a person that's causing you more stress. Write them down, just make sure they don't see it. But then on the flip side, what feels good and positive? You might actually be able to say that, you know what, your stress is really low and that's incredible. So in which case, look at what is making you feel less stressed and what could be helpful. So if you want to go ahead and give this video a little pause, you can go and find that page and fill those in for yourself. What this will also do will give you a little bit of an idea as we go through this workshop that what you're really concentrating on. So quick little pause, find that page with your stress evaluations, and I will see you back here in a minute. So what you should have hopefully done there is figured out what are the things that you need to work on, which is where your weekly check-in pages come in as well. So you have got the start of your week check-ins where you're going to look at what's going to happen for the week, what you're grateful for, how you're feeling, what you're looking forward to. And then you're going to do your end of your week check-ins where you are going to rate what happened that week. One of the questions on here is, what did you struggle with the most? And yes, that could be your habits, but this could also be how you're feeling, what happened, did anything throw you off course, did anything cause you any stress? And that's something you can look into trying to navigate it where you can. You've also got your self-care in there, which we're going to go into in a minute. What you also want to do is look at the things that you can control and the things that you can't control. You want to see where those stress patterns are coming up and then try to manage them instead of reacting to them. I think when we talk about mindfulness, everyone has this thing in their head that it's just sitting in a dark room for a minute in your own thoughts. If anyone can do that, good for them. I've got raging ADHD, that is not physically possible for me. But it's not necessarily about that. It's more about being present, slowing down your nervous system, slowing down your breathing where you need to, getting off your phone to help that brain just catch up with life. But also things like showing gratitude, self-development, things like eating without distraction so you're conscious of what's going in your body, taking a pause before reacting to things, and also things like just checking in with yourself and having a chat with yourself about how you're feeling and what's going on. Even just a few little mindful minutes throughout the day will really make a big impact. Help to regulate your stress and potentially bring a lot of clarity into your day. This is why we have added 2 things to your Project 45 journey. The first one is your weekly check-in pages. So you've got your start of the week and the end of the week. You have got things to check in on there, like what you're feeling grateful for, how you feel as the week starts and why, what you're most looking forward to, the things you're going to focus on. You've then got your end of your week check-ins, which is where you're going to look at what you've ticked off throughout the week. So which habits have you kept up with? Which ones do you need to work harder on? There is space on there for any self-care as well, which we'll go into in a minute. And also how you're going to improve and how you're going to adapt everything you need to for the week ahead so you can really be the best that you can be for the next week. This is why Project You also includes 3 of your 15-minute non-negotiables. You want to be doing things like your 15 minutes of morning gratitude, what's going on, how you're feeling, which is your start of the week check-in pages. You can also use this time to plan your day out and really start the week with a really positive mindset. You have then got your evening reflections, which is similar to your end of the week check-ins, but we want to be doing this daily if we can. So that is going to be your reflections on what happened that day, how you're feeling, what's going on, what can you improve on tomorrow, anything that came up, really starting to make a note of those stress factors that come up when they do. What we also really encourage with Project 45 is at least 15 minutes of something self-care every day, potentially every week, and even planning something in every month. But daily is a non-negotiable. Self-care isn't selfish, it's completely necessary. It is about filling up your own cup so you can fill up other people's, and it doesn't always have to be extravagant. Self-care can look like moving your body, eating good nutrition, drinking plenty of water, saying no to things you don't want to say yes to, people pleasing, we're not doing that around here, resting where necessary, not taking on too much of a workload, and just scheduling time for yourself to do the things that you enjoy. This can also be really small things like 15 minutes of a bubble bath with no kids screaming in your ear. It could be meeting a friend for a walk or a coffee. It could be designating time that you're going to sit and watch your favorite film with a nice little snack. But then it could also include things like indulging in some really nice skincare, a spa day here and there, just anything at all that reconnects you back to yourself and doing the things you enjoy and filling up that cup. You want to be using your planner to schedule in your self-care like it's an appointment and a promise to yourself, just like your workouts and your walks are. We are working on mental health as much as our body because it is just as important. So stress and mindfulness is quite an easy one. It's just about analyzing what's going on with your stress, trying to adapt where you can, and then trying to plan ahead, but also look after yourself where possible. So your action plan for the week is to do your stress evaluations, identify at least a couple of stress factors that are coming up, and then what can you do to try and avoid them where possible or try and work around them where you can. You want to be scheduling your self-care into your planner. You also want to use this time to come up with some new ideas that you actually enjoy. I've started doing colouring again recently and I absolutely love it. Bought myself some cute little pens on TikTok and I'm thoroughly enjoying it. Really good for the mind, really makes me slow down and also forces me to get off my phone. So I would highly recommend it. We want to be managing those stress levels, really encouraging self-care and really implementing mindfulness into our days, our weeks and our months so we can create a really long-term lifestyle where it just embeds in without even thinking about it. Because we're all about creating that sustainable lifestyle. So the last one is your week 6, which is the end of your Project 45 journey if you have been on that with me. And it is going to be a little workshop about figuring out what habits we want to keep up with and then how we're going to implement them into our life to create a brand new lifestyle for ourselves. So I will see you there.